Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Precious. If you are new here, thank you so much for coming back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for clicking. Thank you so much for finding it. I am Precious. I'm South African and I live in Japan at the moment. It's not gonna be for too long because whoa. So today's video is about me telling you how you know if living abroad is not for you. So if you've seen my previous video, or if you haven't, please go look at it. It's how you know if living abroad is for you. But today it's like doing like an opposite of that. How you know that living abroad is like it's not your portion, is not for you, right? And I'm going to give you reasons why maybe don't do it if if these points that I'm going to make resonate with you, then maybe you shouldn't even think about it. Just take it out of your mental. It's not for you. Before we get into it, please subscribe down below. Please guys, please subscribe. I'm trying to get my subscribers to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna do it. And also, I know guys, I know I know that I owe you guys a vlog. I know, but it's coming. So without further ado, let me just tell you some points that I feel like how you know that living overseas or living abroad is not for you. Okay, so number one, guys, is if you cannot even think about leaving home as in your family home, or home as in where you were born. So for example, I was born in Rustenburg, right? I lived my whole life in Rustenburg before moving abroad. And if I could never even imagine myself leaving my province, or maybe let's say going to Joburg, because I mean, if you go to Joburg, you can always just come back because Joburg is 2 hours away. But if you're not living a whole continent away, kilometers on kilometers on kilometers, if that has never crossed your mind, it's such an unfathomable idea, then maybe it's not for you, right? So obviously visiting another country, obviously visiting and being a tourist is one thing. I feel like everybody can do that. But actually living there, actually packing your bags and doing the day-to-day life, it is very, very different, and some people are genuinely not built for that, right? So if you identify, or if you can see yourself in in some of these things that I say, then you will kind of know that no, it's not for me. Okay, so number two is if you get homesick very, very quickly. If you constantly need to see your family, if you constantly need to see your friends, if you constantly need to be with them physically, every weekend you go back home, every weekend you go to your friend's place, every weekend it's you and your family, every weekend it's you video calling. If video calling is not enough for you, then perhaps living abroad is not for you. The thing is, if you are a homesick person, if you get homesick very, very easily, then I prompt you to just think about it carefully. So the third reason why maybe living abroad is not for you, I personally am an advocate for just trying new things and living abroad. I know that it is not for everyone, and it may not be for you if you really cannot see yourself kind of overcoming a language barrier, right? So obviously, if you're moving to America, let's say you're moving to the United States, most people speak English, maybe some people speak Spanish. I don't think you really need to know Spanish that much to get by. So if you're moving to the United States, there won't really be a language barrier. However, there will be a cultural barrier, right? So if you cannot deal with culture shock, if you if you know that, let's say you are a Tswana person and you've never been around Ndebele people, or you've never been around Zulu people, or you've never been around Afrikaans people, it makes you uncomfortable to be around people who are different from you, then living abroad is definitely maybe not for you. Don't do it, right? Because wherever you go, as soon as you step out of your home country, you will be confronted with people who just don't think like you, who are not raised like you, who literally don't see life the same, who don't even behave, let alone speak the same language that you do, who don't behave like you do. So if you really like cannot overcome culture shock, if you're really not that adaptable, then don't do it. It's not for you, and it's not even worth it. Like, you don't have to. And also, one reason that you know that living abroad is not for you is if there's no like immediate pull or push factor. Like, nothing's really like compelling you to do it. Can do without it, right? So I knew of my friend who was he still is like a software developer and whatever. So he like used to love traveling. Like before Corona, he used to love traveling and go to like different places. And then he was offered a job in Scotland, right? Because a lot of like software developers in South Africa, I'm not sure, but I'm seeing like a trend. They usually go to like Ireland and like, you know, like Scotland and whatever, like mainly Ireland, I think, to like become software developers or something like that, right? And he was actually like headhunted, he was scouted to come and work in Ireland, which would mean he would actually have to move abroad, right? So my friend literally like declined the opportunity because he could not see himself moving abroad. Like, he could not see himself actually living, traveling. Yeah, he like used to travel maybe like twice a year, like all over the world, but actually packing up and like living there, no way. It was definitely not within his plans, right? So if it's never been in your plans, if it's not in your plans, even if it's like a little like a thought, then you really shouldn't do it, right? So you should not do it. By the way, guys, I just want to say that I'm putting out a service that I will offer to JET program participants or JET program applicants. So this service is specifically for the JET statement of purpose, right? So I know that sometimes people can do it by themselves, right? I know that, but I also know that sometimes people get really anxious and need a pair of eyes, need a pair of hands to just like read through their papers, proofread for mistakes, and also just edit, just to put things together properly, or just help them put things together properly, right? And I am willingly and available to do that and offer that service to you guys. So if you want something like that, or if you know somebody who could benefit from something like that, right, please do let them know, and please do send it through to my email address down in the description box below. Okay, guys, so since we're still in the month of February 2022 and I started this thing on the 1st of Feb, it's going to be free and for a certain time only, right? So I'm thinking that it's going to be free for like the first 10 people. So I'm going to give myself a period of a month, right? A month or 2 months if I need to extend it, just to see how well people receive it, and also my schedule, and if I can actually like do it. Then after that, I will update the terms and conditions, meaning that it will not be free anymore, right? So I hope that we can work together and make this successful. Thank you so much, guys. I am looking forward to working with you. Thank you. So let's just get a little bit more specific, right? And let me just bring it to my context. How you know that Japan, or living in Japan, I want to say as far as living in Asia, but I can't really speak for other countries because I don't know how their societies are. But let's just keep it real for a minute. Like, I'm not trying to deter, I'm not trying to hate speech, not hate speech, no. But I'm not trying to like be negative or anyway. I'm just trying to be a little bit real, right? Okay, cool. How you know living in Japan is not for you or will not be for you, okay? And if you can answer yes to these questions, then maybe you should reconsider or think about not making it your permanent destination for moving abroad, or maybe just think of it as like a passing through, like you passing through. Because personally for me, I am just passing through. I'm not going to be here for a long time. Let's get into more specific subject matter. How you know that Japan is not going to be for you or it's not for you. First of all, learning Japanese. I will bring myself forth, okay? I will bring myself forth to, like, you know, Japanese language factor. Japanese is very, very difficult, but it's doable. It's not impossible. It's definitely not impossible. However, it is a little hard. It is a little challenging, right? But it's definitely doable. However, if you're not really like, if you're not going to commit to learn the language, if you're not going to even commit to kind of self-teach yourself, you don't even have to go to a school. Maybe you should reconsider moving here or living here, you know. So the first thing is the language part, like the language barrier and the cultural barrier. Okay, actually, segue to the second point, why Japan maybe is not a good option for you, is culture. Guys, I think I've spoken about this, but the cultural differences and the cultural shock are very, very different. They are very different, obviously, because South Africa is a very diverse place. Japan is not diverse. It's not. It's a homogeneous society where literally everywhere you go, you will see the same kind of people with the same skin tone. And it can get very tiring. It is exhausting. Like, it really is. To put it plain and simply, it's a lot, right? And I feel like if you crave diversity, if you are that type of person that needs different people around you, different cultures, different people of different shades, people of different skin tones, people of different body type, you need that. Or if you thrive off of that mixed environment, then that's for you. And Japan is really not for you, because you will not find that here. It's not a melting pot, and it can frustrate a lot of people, right? And so if you think that that's going to maybe add to your frustrations, then perhaps rethink about moving here or making plans to move here, right? Some of these things, guys, are not as serious, but if you accumulate a lot of non-serious things, they become this big monster, right? And they make your life miserable in the end. Okay, the second part is social scene, like the social environment. A lot of foreigners complain about the social scene. Guys, Japan is not a friendly place. Like, people are polite, sure. People are polite, people, you know, omotenashi, that whole type of thing. But for me personally, I don't feel like it's friendly, right? Coming from a South African place, coming from people like, we have like things like Ubuntu and all that stuff, I feel like it's very different, right? And also, people here are only friendly or only kind to people that they personally directly know, right? So they're not really that friendly to strangers. Like, they're not, unless you are really confident in your social skills, unless you are really confident in your extrovertedness, unless you are really confident in your assertiveness to make friends or to command that type of thing, then I feel like you can make it work anywhere. But if you are not, then it may potentially be a Debbie Downer for you. It may potentially be a hindrance for you. It may potentially be a point of frustration for you, right? So if you think that could be, then rethink about it, you know, like rethink that factor. Yeah, so the next thing that I will say, and that maybe you are not really equipped, or you are not a good pair, or you're not compatible with living in Japan, is okay. All right, guys, another thing about moving to Japan is your job, right? Is your job. ALT teaching, or like moving to Japan to be a teacher, for some people it's not a fulfilling job. For some people, it can really, really, really add to your frustration. For example, I know one of my friends, we came together here as like the 2019 group, and he quit, or he went home after 1 year because he really just couldn't deal with it. He went home after 1 year because he really could not deal with it, or he had enough, right? So he went home after a year because it really was not compatible with him or with his like life trajectory, right? So I feel like you really need to kind of have a plan, because personally, I do not recommend coming to Japan with the plans of living here permanently. I do not recommend it personally, right? Okay guys, another reason why maybe Japan is not for you. By the way guys, I'm only talking about this just to help a few people who are gathering enough information so that they can finally make the decision to go ahead and actually apply, or they can finally make the decision to convince their parents, convince themselves, convince their family, convince their friends to really just go for it, right? Because I really feel like you need to have these, you need to have an objective view on life. You really need to have a balanced view on life, right? So that you can make the right decisions for ourselves. And also, disclaimer, sometimes I know that the right decisions aren't even right until they reveal themselves when we are actually like at the destination. Sometimes you don't know if something is right or wrong until you are actually there. I know. But if I can help some people prepare as best as they can, as best as I can, then I feel like my job is done, right? Then I feel like that's my purpose for coming on here and telling you guys this. Okay, another thing is the cultural pressure, right? Dating prospects, right? Dating prospects and the prospect of actually making a family here. Unless you are white or unless you are fairer skin, then honestly speaking, let's just keep it real, it's going to be very easy for you. It's going to be a very easy thing for you, so that's great. But if you are on the darker side, if you are like maybe like my shade of color, and you're trying to make a family and you're trying to date, it's not impossible. Like I said, it's not impossible. I know many women. Like actually last week I went to this woman's house for the first time. She was going to do my hair, and she's been in Japan for 15 years. Like she's literally been in Japan for like I think 20 or 15 years, because she has a daughter and her daughter is 15, so she's probably been here for like more than that, right? You have to date first and then can have a child, right? Yeah. Anyway, so she's actually married and she has a family, she has a house, so she's set here. This is her second home. Her first home, or her home country, is from Ghana. She's Ghanaian, and she's like typical African woman. She's like voluptuous and just like tall and dark skin, even darker than me, but she was able to find love. She was able to make a family. However, it's not everybody. She's an outlier. She's literally an outlier. It's not everybody. Most people do have a tough time. Even if you are not dark skin, like just generally because Japan is such a homogenous society, so obviously people feel much easier to date within their race, right? I feel like that's like a global thing where people think it's easier to like date within your race. But the reason why I am raising this point is just to say that, like, if you are going to come to Japan with the purpose of making a family right off the bat, the purpose of dating right off the bat, please, you need to adjust your expectations, because realistically it's not going to be as simple. Realistically, it's not going to be as plain and simple. It's really not. It's just not. And also, if you're not American, like some things are so ridiculous, guys. If you're not, it's like people here place value on which country you are from, right? It's ridiculous, but it's reality, right? Like this is what happens here. So like I said, those little things could possibly be a point of frustration, and they might not work for you, so maybe you should decide. So I'm gonna end it here because I'm rambling and I feel like it's going on for too long. So guys, if those points that I mentioned earlier don't mean anything to you, or if those points that I mentioned earlier, you know that you can overcome them, then please, by all means, then it's for you. Then you should come. Then you should just take the chance, right? But if those points that I mentioned could maybe be a little bit of a hindrance, or could like make you a little anxious, or make you like think about things a little bit, I feel like it's always a good thing to think things through. That's always a good thing. So at the end of the day, guys, the choice is yours. All I'm here to do is just offer information and help people out along the way. I know that this was a very subjective, very personal, very biased video as well, so do take everything with a pinch of salt. And yeah, guys, tell me what you think. If you have any questions about what I said, if you have any questions about anything that's been like bothering you, or anything, I don't know, like if you have any questions in general also about the JET program and applications, please write them down below. I will definitely answer all your questions. And also my DMs are always open, you guys. If you have any questions, please DM me as well. If you have any comments, please DM me as well. And also, guys, please do not forget of my service, my editing and proofreading service. I'm so happy to do that. It's free for only 2 months. It's going to be free for like only 2 months, and the first 10 people that I get, it will be free for those 10 people. Okay, thank you so much, guys. As always, I hope you find value. I hope that it has helped someone think things through a little bit, and see you next time.